Councilmember Aloya.
Here.
Councilmember Calendrillo.
Here.
Councilmember Aaron Delaney.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Joseph Delaney.
Here.
Mayor Rigoloso.
Here.
Okay, we have 5 ayes, which means a quorum is present for this regular meeting of the Garfield City Council, which is being held today, which is Tuesday, February the 27th, 2018. This regular meeting is being held in accordance with provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act. Adequate notice has been provided by mail, facsimile, and email to the official city newspapers and to other interested parties, and by posting the meeting notice on the bulletin boards in City Hall. If everyone would please rise, we'd like to begin with the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If everyone would please remain standing for a short prayer. Lord God, we ask you to look down upon this city council and its deliberations this evening. We ask you to protect our citizens. We ask you to guide our public officials as they lead us to greater heights here in the city of Garfield. Amen.
Amen.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the meetings up to and including January 5th, 2018?
Motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Aloya,
Second.
by Councilmember Aaron Delaney. On the roll call, Councilmember Aloya.
Aye.
Councilmember Calendrillo.
Aye.
Councilmember Aaron Delaney.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Joseph Delaney.
Aye.
Mayor Rigoloso. We have 5 ayes. At this time, we would have a motion to approve the reports of the Cabinet as presented orally and in writing during the work session held earlier this evening. If there's a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Aaron Delaney, seconded by Richard Rigoloso. On the roll call, Councilmember Aloya.
Aye.
Councilmember Calendrillo.
Aye.
Councilmember Aaron Delaney.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Joseph Delaney.
Aye.
Mayor Rigoloso.
Aye.
Okay, we have 5 ayes. Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, resolutions number 65, 2, including number 72, have 5 signatures on them, so if there are no objections, I will take one roll call vote on those resolutions. On the roll call, Councilmember Aloya.
Aye.
Councilmember Calendrillo.
Aye.
Councilmember Aaron Delaney.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Joseph Delaney.
Aye.
Mayor Rigoloso.
Aye.
Okay, we have 5 ayes. We have a resolution which authorizes the transfer of $12,500 between various city accounts. Resolution is signed by Council members Aaron Delaney, Aloya, Rigoloso, and Joseph Delaney. On the roll call, Councilmember Aloya.
Aye.
Councilmember Calendrillo.
Aye.
Councilmember Aaron Delaney.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Joseph Delaney.
Aye.
Mayor Rigoloso.
Aye.
Okay, we have 5 ayes. The next resolution is a temporary budget for the city of Garfield. It's signed by all the council members, the entire city council. On the roll call, Councilmember Aloya.
Aye.
Councilmember Calendrillo.
Aye.
Councilmember Aaron Delaney.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Joseph Delaney.
Aye.
Mayor Rigoloso. Okay, we have 5 ayes. The next resolution is one which appoints Frank Cavelli, a professional insurance associate.
Hold on.
Yes.
Let's table that one more time.
This is being held again?
Yes, it is.
No objections by the signers, right?
No objection.
No.
Okay.
This will be the last time.
All right. And the other one only has 1 signature.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a resolution appointing John Easton to the Zoning Board of Adjustment as a regular member to succeed himself for a 4-year term, said term to expire January 1st, 2022. Resolution is signed by Council members Aloya and Rigoloso. On the roll call, Councilmember Aloya.
Aye.
Councilmember Calendrillo.
Aye.
Councilmember Aaron Delaney.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Joseph Delaney.
It's just, I spoke with John before the meeting, and John serves on our redevelopment board also, and I just feel, my own personal opinion, John is he's a great member, but I just feel that we shouldn't have one person sitting on 2 boards. That's my own personal opinion. That's why I'm abstaining right now.
Mayor Rigoloso.
Aye.
Okay, we have 4 ayes, 1 abstention. We have resolution appointing Francisco Sanchez, 523 McDonald Street, as first alternate of the Zoning Board of Adjustment to succeed himself for a 2-year term, said term to expire January 1st, 2020. The resolution is signed by the entire City Council. On the roll call, Councilmember Aloya.
Aye.
Councilmember Calendrillo.
Aye.
Councilmember Aaron Delaney.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Joseph Delaney.
Aye.
Mayor Rigoloso.
Aye.
Okay, we have 5 ayes. Next resolution appoints Carmen Brianti Jr. of 125 MacArthur Avenue as second alternate of the Zoning Board of Adjustment to succeed John Calendrillo for a 2-year term, said term to expire January 1st, 2020. Resolution signed by the entire City Council. On the roll call, Councilmember Aloya.
Aye.
Councilmember Calendrillo.
Aye.
Councilmember Aaron Delaney.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Joseph Delaney.
Aye.
Mayor Rigoloso.
Aye.
Okay, we have 5 ayes. Next resolution is one that appoints John Calendrillo of 47 Maitland Place as fourth alternate of the Zoning Board of Adjustment for a term to expire January 1st, 2019. Resolution signed by council members Aaron Delaney, Aloya, Rigoloso, and Joseph Delaney. On the roll call, Councilmember Aloya.
Aye.
Councilmember Calendrillo.
Abstain.
Councilmember Aaron Delaney.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Joseph Delaney.
Aye.
Mayor Rigoloso.
Aye.
Okay, we have 4 ayes, 1 abstention. That concludes resolutions at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Bills and claims.
Okay, resolved by the City Council of the City of Garfield that the following bills, number 2083 to 2084, covering escrow developers trust fund and dog trust fund totaling $4,602.23, and the current fund reserve totaling $26,417.83, and the current fund totaling $2,958,635.68, and the water fund reserve totaling $1,745.00, and the water fund current totaling $6,992.91, and the general capital fund totaling $80,201.23, and the water capital fund totaling $4,455.00 per attached computer list be ordered paid, and the proper officers are hereby authorized to issue checks for same, provided there are funds in the respective appropriations. Be it further resolved that the action of the mayor, city clerk, and city treasurer in payment on the ratification list, which includes 14 items prior to the meeting, be ratified. Bills and claims resolution is signed by the entire city council. On the roll call, Councilmember Aloya.
Aye.
Councilmember Calendrillo.
Yes.
Councilmember Aaron Delaney.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Joseph Delaney.
Aye.
Mayor Rigoloso.
Aye.
Okay, we have 5 ayes, bills and claims are approved. Ordinances, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, please.
Okay, the following entitled ordinance was introduced at a meeting held on January 9th, 2018. It was duly published. Copies were posted on the bulletin boards at City Hall. Copies were made available to the general public, and having complied with the law, this ordinance was not read in full, and the City Council can now proceed with the public hearing and final passage. An ordinance of the City of Garfield, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, amending the zoning ordinance of the City of Garfield, Chapter 341-13, prohibited uses in any district.
On this ordinance and this ordinance only, would anybody like to come up and discuss this? I see no hands.
Okay.
We got one person, Rich.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't recognize you, I apologize.
No, I just, my name is Dr. Anez, 20 Hepburn, Sparksville. It's just, I don't understand what it means. So what is this going to do?
This is the,
So I'm just curious,
this is the ordinance on marijuana.
Correct.
This is the ordinance on marijuana. Yes.
Yeah, this ordinance prohibits the sale of marijuana and paraphernalia associated with marijuana within the city of Garfield.
The zoning, the first one, right?
Yes.
And so that'll be for, is that just for all sales, or is it for anything that has to do, like research or anything like that? Does that cover everything, or just the sale of?
So the way the
The
ordinance
sale.
reads, prohibited uses, the following will be prohibited in the city of Garfield. The sale of marijuana and paraphernalia associated with marijuana use is hereby prohibited within the city of Garfield. Okay? Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to come up and discuss this ordinance? I see no hands.
You're closing the public hearing, right?
Yes.
Okay, on second reading, final adoption, Councilmember Aloya.
Aye.
Councilmember Calendrillo.
Aye.
Councilmember Aaron Delaney.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Joseph Delaney.
Aye.
Mayor Rigoloso.
Aye.
Okay, we have 5 ayes, the ordinance is adopted. The following entitled ordinance was introduced at a meeting held on February the 13th, 2018. It was duly published. Copies were posted on the bulletin boards in City Hall. Copies were made available to the general public, and having complied with the law, this ordinance was not read in full, and the City Council can now proceed with the public hearing and final passage. An ordinance to amend and revise Chapter 5-28 of the Code of the City of Garfield to allow non-residents to serve on the Event Planning and Recreational Advisory Committee. Any public hearing?
Yeah, you can explain it, Tom, go ahead, please.
Okay, this ordinance, the purpose of this ordinance is to allow people who are non-residents to serve on this special committee, the Event Planning Committee. And the reason that it has been put forth is that in the 100th anniversary, we got tremendous help from people like Pat Gallagher, who is the executive director of the YMCA, who spends the greater part of her lifetime here, but doesn't live here. Similarly, Shane Sudol from the Boys and Girls Club put in some time. So a number of these people who worked really hard on the 100th Anniversary Committee and would like to continue to work on events planning in the city do not reside here. This would allow them to continue to assist.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Mayor.
On this ordinance and this ordinance only? I see no hands.
So,
Close it.
okay, Mayor's closed the public hearing on second reading, final adoption. I'll make it.
Come into the Charlie. Should we get a priest?
No, not yet.
Mine over here, too.
On the roll call, Councilmember Aloya.
I in no way feel that this represents a question mark to anyone who doesn't reside in the city. Committee positions should be maintained by residents of Garfield. If the residents of Garfield have a bona fide committee and they choose to have subcommittee or advisory personnel, as we do even on this board, your key people, the four key gentlemen sitting on that side of the table, do not reside in Garfield. But we take their knowledge, we take their wisdom, we hire them to work for us, but they don't sit on the committee. I vote no.
Councilmember Calandrillo.
Yes.
Councilmember Arundellini.
Yes, in the work session this evening, we spoke about how the city thrives off of our volunteers, and I don't see this being any different. My vote is yes.
Deputy Mayor Joseph Delaney.
If we take a look at all the functions we had to celebrate the 100th year anniversary, it did include a lot of people that are familiar with the city of Garfield, grew up in it, whatever, but don't live in it right now, and it was a tremendous success. But I'd definitely like to keep that ball rolling, so I definitely vote aye.
Mayor Rigloso.
With this committee, there are certain people who want to be on this committee that have already got the ball rolling for a Memorial Day parade, a mud run, a fireworks show, and a street fair. And it'd just be unfair for them to take them off the committee just because they're not part of the residents of Garfield. They have the contacts and they have the knowledge of getting these things up and running and the dates, so I vote yes.
Okay, we have 4 ayes, 1 nay. The ordinance is adopted. The following entitled ordinance was introduced at a meeting held on February 13th, 2018. It was duly published. Copies were posted on the bulletin board in City Hall. Copies were made available to the general public, and having complied with the law, this ordinance was not read in full, and the City Council can now proceed with the public hearing and final passage. Bond ordinance to authorize the acquisition of parking permit enforcement equipment for the use of the police department in, by, and for the City of Garfield in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $63,000 to pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds. Want to say something?
Yeah, please, Tom.
Ladies and gentlemen, this ordinance is to fund the new parking program. We currently have the parking program with your stickers. You come here and you line up and you have to renew it. This is to make the program accessible and available online. It's to make it that there would be license plate readers, so you wouldn't have to put the sticker in your car anymore. You would simply register, we would know your plate, the equipment would allow us to drive down the street and know from your plates, from the license plate readers on the vehicles, whether or not you're allowed to park at night. So This is really to bring us to the next step and to make it a little more convenient for residents. You'll be able to apply online, you'll be able to scan your documents, send your documents in. If there's something questionable, you will be called in, but otherwise, we're trying to make it a little bit easier for residents. I'd like to thank, the mayor's been on that committee, and the police department. Lieutenant Marsh has really led the charge on this, along with Captain Palanque, our chief, Officer Peichel, and Officer Falari in our traffic department. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Thank you, Tom. On this ordinance and this ordinance only, would anybody like to come up and speak? Please come up, Dennis Strand.
And Mike Dennis, 104 Palisade. What about senior citizens and people that don't have computers to go online? Is there been an alternate way of doing this?
Yes, you'll still be able to come to City Hall. You'll always be welcome here at City Hall, Mr. Dennis Strand.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I'm not just speaking for myself, there's other people.
Is there anyone else who'd like to speak on this ordinance? At this time, I see no hands.
Okay, the mayor's closed the public hearing. So on the roll call on second reading and final adoption, Councilmember Aloya.
Excellent program, I vote aye.
Councilmember Calendrillo.
Yes.
Councilmember Aaron
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Joseph
I'd
Delaney.
like to thank the mayor for all this hard work with regard to this program. He's definitely influenced the police department to run with this, so good job, Mayor. I vote aye.
Thank you.
Mayor Rigoloso.
I'm just glad that we're kind of moving forward. Our old way was antiquated, and it's just time we just move forward. I vote aye.
Okay, we have 5 ayes. The ordinance is adopted. On first reading, on introduction, bond ordinance to authorize the installation of playground equipment at 20th Century Field in by and for the city of Garfield in the county of Bergen, state of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $130,000 to pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds. The ordinance is introduced by council members, by the entire city council. On the roll call on introduction, Councilmember Aloya.
Aye.
Councilmember Calendrillo.
Yes.
Councilmember Aaron Delaney.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Joseph Delaney.
Aye.
Mayor Rigoloso.
Aye.
Okay, we have 5 ayes. Ordinance passes on first reading. Also on introduction, bond ordinance to authorize the installation of an elevator at the Garfield Public Library in by and for the city of Garfield in the county of Bergen, state of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $320,000 to pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds, to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds. This ordinance is introduced by the entire city council. On the roll call on first reading, Councilmember Aloya.
Mayor, just for clarity, we have 200,000 of the 300 already from a grant?
Yes.
I vote aye, excellent job.
Councilmember Calendrillo.
Aye.
Councilmember Aaron Delaney.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Joseph Delaney.
Yes, this was a community block grant given to us by the county, and I'd like to thank Tom Dutch for, this is one of his many grants that he's been given to the city. Too many to name, but this is just, you know, in paper, how our city manager is able to go and get the city money for all different aspects, whether it be fields, whether it be elevators for the public library. So I definitely vote aye.
Mayor Rigoloso.
Aye.
Okay, we have 5 ayes. The ordinance passes on first reading, and I believe that concludes all written items for voting at this time. Mr. Mayor, members of the city council.
We'll open up to citizens.
Yes, sir.
Before we open up to citizens and taxpayers, there was an ordinance for introduction on the food handlers, mobile truck. I know, Ty, you're here? I see Ty here. This was just tabled for today because there were 3 questions our new attorney had to figure out. Once these questions are figured out, they should be on the table for next meeting. Am I correct, Mark?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, 3 simple questions,
And the towing law.
as well as the towing ordinance, if anybody's here from the towing. A couple questions that need to be answered. So those were tabled for now, but they're moving forward with those, both of them. So now we're going to open up to citizens and taxpayers. Anybody would like to come on up? You state your name.
How you doing? Representative William McCullough, domicile 130 Gaston. Just want to thank you for bringing it up and still working on it. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Anyone else would like to come up?
Hi, good evening. I'd like to address a problem on Chestnut Street. It's been an ongoing problem.
Hey, Doris, could you just state for the audio record your name and address?
Oh, my name is Doris Dobish, 94 Chestnut Street. I don't know what the ordinance in town is for residential parking. From what I understand, we are allowed residents to park on the street, no commercial vehicles. This has been an ongoing problem for many years. It has escalated to a really bad situation. There's numerous cars. We have one house that has 7 cars in a single family. There are vehicles that don't work, that are left in the driveway. It goes all the ways back from when, and I'll just give you a couple different scenarios, when grandfathered apartments were allowed to happen, extensions on two-family house became greater, and there was no provision for parking. We have the absent landlords that rent to numerous people, and we have all these cars on the street for these houses, and there's not enough parking. When Chestnut Street was redone, and all the trees were knocked down, and all the beautiful trees were put back up, I extended my driveway to accommodate the cars for my family. None of the other residents did so. I have two parking spaces in front of my house. I still cannot park in my parking spot in front of my house. If I leave after 5 o'clock at night, I have to park either up the block or around the block. I have an 80-year-old woman who is a tenant of mine, and she has to take her walker up the block or wherever else. We can't park in front of our own houses because of the numerous cars that are on the block. What other is taking up the parking spaces, people are bringing their commercial vehicles home. They're not registered, they're either parking them on the street, and when they're not on the street, they're in their driveway if they have one. I'm talking about box trucks, bread box trucks. I'm talking about construction vehicles in their driveways, in their backyards. I'm talking about rental enterprise vehicles that are parked on the driveway that aren't registered for their businesses. If you go up a block, I drive up the block going towards Town Hall, you see more commercial vehicles. This is a residential area. So my question is, when did this become a commercial vehicle parking on the street? And if there hasn't been the allowance of these vehicles to park on the street, why isn't it being enforced? If it isn't being enforced, I'd like to see it enforced because there's just no parking. And I advise my tenant, she's 80 years old, I keep telling her, go get a handicap parking sign to be put in front of the house. So, waiting for her to get her papers in order. So, what solution do you have or can come up with to reduce the reduction of all these numerous cars? When we had the problem of the vehicles that were broken down, they had the registration sticker, but we were told there's nothing that they can be done because it just sat in the car, in the driveway. So the vehicle rotted for like 7 years, sitting there until they got a new car. And now there's 2 vehicles for this one particular situation that they don't fix, they just move them. The one is there with flat tire. So what recourse do we have to reduce the amount of cars on the street? Do we limit the amount of cars per single-family household? Do we limit for 2-family residency? How many cars do we allow?
Doris, these cars are parked in the driveway, and so they're just parked there permanently in the driveway? Is that what you're saying, or are they parked on the street, these commercial vehicles?
Commercial vehicles are parked in the driveways, some are on the street.
Tom, can you,
Yeah, what I would suggest is this, I'll take Doris's phone number, and we'll get more particulars with addresses and stuff, so we can look at all of them in the parking sticker program. There is no limit on the number of parking stickers in your home right now. If you have 3 children and they all have a car, then you get a sticker. The parking sticker program helps us ferret out. People will come in and say, oh, I'm in the basement apartment at this address. We look at our records and there's a first floor and a second floor apartment, no basement apartment. They don't get a sticker, they get fined, and we use that to go after the landlord for an illegal apartment. We also share that information with the school board so that the school board can use it so that if there are students who are in our system who shouldn't be, we get them out. But at present, there is no per-house limit. So if you live with, it's you and your spouse and then a couple of kids and everybody has a car, we do let you get a parking sticker. The problem is, we're 2.1 square miles, and we have more than 15,000 cars that are licensed to park on the street. In terms of commercial vehicles, a very long time ago, when I was the mayor, we used to have an ordinance that prohibited commercial vehicles on the street.
That's how I remember it last.
That was lifted. It was lifted because there was a feeling among the council at that time that a lot of people in town are working people, and a lot of them use these vehicles to make a living, and shouldn't we allow them to park on the street? So that ordinance was changed then. From that time to now, now we have this parking sticker program to try to govern it, to try to manage it, and we're hopeful that with the improvements we propose tonight, that it'll get better. But I would like the information, so I'll take your number, we'll see what we can do to try to address those that we know are violators of some type, okay?
Well, I would like to see that ordinance brought back because they're bringing their commercial vehicle. I have a different opinion on that as far as the commercial vehicle being lifted. I think it devalues your home. If I'm looking across the street, I keep my property beautiful, but I see a commercial bread box truck across the street parked in a private driveway. I don't want to look at that or a construction vehicle. So I think that diminishes your property value. That's just my opinion.
I think there's an ordinance, isn't there an ordinance on the size of the vehicle that needs to be parked on the street?
Yes.
There used to be, I don't know where they sat.
Yeah, there's a restriction in terms of length, and there's been some debate here before the council because there's a certain type of Ford vehicle that apparently is very popular, and our ordinance, and I'm just making this up, I don't remember the exact number, but say our ordinance says 19 and a half feet, this particular Ford truck is like 19 feet, 10 inches or something. So because it's used by so many people as a mode of their main transport, we're looking at extending that particular portion of the ordinance.
I understand that because there's many people that use it. I'm talking about box
I
trucks
understand.
with names and enterprise trucks with the big names on it. So I think there's a little bit, if we define the difference between the commercial vehicles and vehicles that are used in the common household on a daily usage, there's a difference.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
My name is Carol Koschek, 23 Spencer Place. Mr. Dutch, I'm going to start with you. I've been coming here 2 years now, and I was told you are the man that gets things done. Unfortunately, there's a problem with the train that still hasn't been painted. I know you called, but I think you need to be more forceful. The trains are nothing but trouble. They look terrible going under still the underpass, and this was supposed to be done 2 years ago, and it still hasn't been painted. I think you have to get on their case more and more. They come through our town as fast as they can. They blow them whistles from morning to night until 2, 3 o'clock. I have oil trains coming right past my house, which eventually is going to wipe out the whole block because they're so close to our homes. But I think you need to be a little bit more forceful. My opinion. I'm going down to the mayor. You had made a comment the last time I was here about me just being Spencer Place, me caring about Spencer Place. That's not true. I care about every block in Garfield. And I have some pictures that I want you to look at for when I go around my corner, just around my corner, that the garbage that I see, because it's not nice. And as far as Sam goes, you had made a comment that Sam didn't think we need more garbage pails. I don't know who Sam is working for. I thought he was working for us in Garfield. But if he needs training, you could send him to Woodridge, Hasbrook Heights, Rutherford, to show how, and it's only 2 minutes away, so there's no reason that our town has to look the way it does. And if you need some training, maybe you should send me here.
Can I see the pictures, Carol?
This is just going to the block.
Thank you.
Oh, and there's a dirty diaper in there.
It's not mine.
Mr. Laney? Still waiting for them garbage pails, and I resent you for not putting it up right now for where we need it. We need it by the church, we need it by definitely the new school, and we need it across the street. There is 4 places that I can take you to, and I don't have to wait for someone to say where to place it. You can come to my house, and I will show you where we need it, and what I've been fighting for 2 years. Councilman, I think you are so wrong with the garbage pails to say what you did say, and when I tell people what you say, they look at me if I'm crazy, or the council's crazy, but I think you're wrong. We need them garbage pails. And I don't care if Sam or DPW have to work harder to take the bags out. I don't care who throws their garbage in there. It's better than throwing it on the street. And I don't think it's fair. I am a taxpayer. I want them garbage pails. And I don't care who says what, or Sam doesn't think it's good, or the mayor doesn't think it's good. I want the garbage pails. I'm tired of picking up the garbage. I really am. And I'm tired of coming here and saying the same thing over and over. I am a smart person. I know what goes on. I look beyond people. And I don't think you're doing anything for this town in the last 2 years that I see that I could really say it's a great town. And it's still the same. And I refuse to come here anymore. If I have to go to the newspaper, or I have to get Channel 12 to come, I will. Because I'm not doing this again. I'm not wasting my time. I'm not making you think I'm a fool or a jerk, or you can say yes to me all the time, and you're not doing anything. You're not doing anything. And as far as a football field and a thing, I think you should pay attention more to your schools, because that's why people are moving out of this town. Your school is horrible. Number 4, it's rated number 4. Come on now. You're a principal. Some of you must have kids in the schools. Some of the people that live here don't even send their kids to school here. You should concentrate more on that than the football field, or a baseball field, or whatever field you want, or putting an elevator in a library. You really should concentrate on your school system, if you really care about this town. And again, I'm not doing this anymore.
Carol, can I just say something? I think we concentrate more on the school system than the board. I think you're in the wrong venue here
Okay.
with that. We really do.
Okay.
And we hope, and number 4 school is a great school. Unfortunately, they have a lot of special ed students in that school, and because of the special ed students and a lot of newer students that come in, sometimes the test scores aren't where they're supposed to be. They passed everything they needed to pass, but they failed one subgroup by 1/10 of a point. 1/10 of a point. That means one kid could have gotten one question wrong and they fail it. Once you fail one subgroup, you consider a school a failure. But they're not a failure. They're a great school that's in a great area with a lot of hardworking people and a lot of hardworking parents. And it's, I just believe our board, that school, those teachers, the teachers in our district, they work hard for what they have, and I think we're one of the better districts. I really do.
You say that, but a lot of people don't say that, and when I talk to people that have children on my block, they don't send their children to school here. Can you tell me why?
They graduated?
No, they're little kids. They can't graduate. They're little children. They're 7, 8 years old, and they're not sending their children to this school. And everybody that I talk to had kids on my block doesn't send their children to school here. So obviously, there's something wrong there.
That's the negativity of our town then. And it's unfortunate that we get that bad rap. And there's some people that move into our town, and they think our school districts are poor. And I'm just going to say, Doris right there, she works for Bayer Aspirin, and the middle school ended up winning a grant through Bayer Aspirin, and they came to our school with how many? 50 scientists? I don't want to put you on the spot, 50, 60, from Bayer, and we ended up winning a 3D printer. I mean, these are things that you don't hear about. You only hear the negative about our school district, and, you know, there's over 6,000 kids in our school district, and you may hear the negative about 50 or 60, and these parents happen to go on these, you know, parent pages and Facebook pages, they just jump on board of all the negativity. There's a lot of positives going on in our school and in our town, and we're changing that image around. You know, but it's unfortunate. And you know what, every parent has a right to take their kids to any school district they want. You know, and the charter school is a very good school district. And, you know, they're a good school district, and some parents have that right to do it.
Then you should get out there and tell them that. You should put it, instead of having negative about Garfield, because everybody you talk to is a negative about Garfield.
I stand on my soapbox, and I can speak for the council. I know they stand on their soapboxes too, and they preach about the positives of our district and our town. You know, but there are people, they're just not
Well, you
happy
tell me
about
the
it.
positive of this town. Mr. Olay doesn't want garbage pails. Sam doesn't think we need garbage pails.
Well-
This one don't think we need this. There is nothing beautiful about this town.
Mr. Garofalo did put out, last time you were here, Mr. Garofalo did put out 6 new...
And that, I know that.
I'm sorry.
He put out in this email 10 new garbage pails on Passaic Street.
I ordered more?
That gave us a total of 25. They ran out, they ordered 10 more, and as soon as they come in, they're gonna finish the job.
Okay, but
And
where
the
is he
cost, how much was
putting
the
them?
cost, Mrs. Delaney?
I
Where is he
don't,
putting
Over
them? 'Cause I don't see them.
Over
Where is he
10,000.
putting them?
Over
He's not putting them
$10,000.
where I assume there's more garbage. You see what the pictures are? That's just walking around my block, because I have no garbage pails by the church, or by the new school that's going to be the new school, or across the street where there is the White House. There is no garbage pails, which you need. There is no garbage pails at Walmart. When you come out the back way, they throw their garbage. Walmart should have a garbage pail there. There should be more. I mean, I'm tired of picking up garbage. I'm tired of doing this. You don't understand. I pay $9,000 over in taxes. That's beside the water, the sewage, and everything else. And then we got street cleaners coming down with no water, and when they come, they blow everything away out. What is it? I mean, how hard is this? I run a house that's 11 rooms. I have a full life, and I still go out and pick up somebody else's garbage. Poop all over. The park, you still didn't do anything with the park. There is nothing to, and that park is a big park just to stay empty. It was supposed to be a dog park, and it isn't a dog park. It's nothing. It's 2 little things. What, you concentrate where you live, but not where I live? There's kids that live there want to go into that park, and there's 2 little things in there. And there's dog poop all over. I don't even walk my dog there anymore. Come on now. Let's come on my side a little instead of worrying about the other side and see what we have. Again, you have a big lot that's just sitting there with 2 little things in it. 2 little things. Come on. I'm done. I'm finished. If you can't do the easiest thing in this town, then I'm just wasting my time. And I'll go to somebody else then.
Thank you. Tom, would you like to discuss about, I'm sorry, Angel, 1 second. Would you like to discuss about the train tracks? That you had the meeting with the train and about painting the train and everything?
Yes.
The trestle?
Yes. We had a meeting out at the site, the Passaic Street Railroad trestle. In fact, Mr. Denistran and one of his friends, one of your neighbors, joined us at that meeting. We walked the tracks, we talked about safety, we talked about, they brought in the woman engineer who was in charge of 562 bridges in the state. She advised us that the bridge is absolutely safe. Mr. Boswell had one of his people there. He listened to the entire presentation. He also agreed that the bridge is absolutely safe. The latest from New Jersey Transit, and this really depends on the budget, the state budget, and the funding of New Jersey Transit, is really beyond our control. But the state has this listed to be painted this fall. So that's the bridge. In terms of the railroad tracks themselves, they have a device, like a car, that comes through once a week, and it measures cars, it measures the tracks, it measures the strength of the tracks. They have not gotten back to me yet. I do agree with Mr. Denistran that there's a problem with the railroad ties on the one side. They certainly, I'm a layperson, but to me it seems that they need to be replaced. We did not have an engineer from that division present with us. So we will continue to pursue it. We asked for that meeting to make sure that we were safe. In terms of the trash,
Wait, Mr. Dutch, just before you put, this is where I live, and this is how close the train is. And when the oil train comes by, and I'm hoping I can do this because I'm not very good at it. This is the oil train by my house. That goes, the whole block goes in my house.
yeah, unfortunately, railroads are regulated by federal law, and federal law determines what comes through and what doesn't come through. All right? I have no control over that. And, our Congress people do, but it's a regulatory agency, it's a federal agency, and there's little that we can do. I mean, there's towns up and down the railroad that have complained about the transport of oil, chemicals, et cetera. What's the disaster plan? There was a move in the state legislature, they talked about, should we pass a law and make them advise all the towns what's coming through, so that we can include that in our emergency management plan, in our hazardous plans. We have volumes of plans that we work on. Hopefully, the legislature will pass that, hopefully the governor will sign it, and maybe that'll give us some, something to hold on to.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Mayor.
Mayor, would you like me to respond about the park?
Yes, please.
The park, the city received a grant for $58,000 to construct a dog park and do related improvements over there. The city currently does not own title to that piece of property. They've been in negotiations with the property owner, who is the parent company of the shopping center, Vernado. And tonight, the city, you will see very shortly, a bond ordinance being introduced that will fund the purchase of that property and fund the capping of the rail spur that goes in one portion of that will allow the park to be acquired by the city and developed as the dog park.
Thank you, Kevin.
Hopefully it's why it's up.
Is there anybody else who would like to come up and speak? Angel?
Mayor and Council, with your permission, I am a board member, Carol, so I'm going to just address something she brought up.
Yes.
I'm the chairman of the Buildings and Grounds, and...
Angel, just for the audio record, state your name and address.
My name is Julio Angel Quiles. I live at 95 Willard Street, Garfield, New Jersey. And so I'm going to address, if I may,
Yes.
as a board member and as the chairman of the Buildings and Grounds. Our buildings, and school number 6 is 100 years old, school number 4 I think is 109 years old, and there's another school over 100 years old. Yes, they are old, they need a lot of work. I think it's important, as we have residents here today addressing the council with this issue, they should go to the Board of Education meeting so we can address it as well, since we are the elected officials there for the board. They do need some improvements, and you as a resident, I just wanted to give you this information in front of the council. That is important that you guys go. Everybody that's here and everyone that lives here should go, because that's $102 million budget there. There's got to be money put aside to fix these old schools that we have. We're blessed, we're having a new school built on Millen Avenue, I guess, sir?
Passaic Street.
School number 10, brand new. It takes time, but I just got on the board, and I just wanted to make sure that at least I can give you an answer to something, and hopefully I can give you a better answer. I am addressing these issues. It's not like it's being, it's not being brought up. The issue of schools are being brought up, and I bring it up to every meeting. And I just had a meeting on February. I think Dennis came and talked to me yesterday on some issues, and you can ask him. My number is there, you can call me, you can call the council.
Let me ask you something, is it doing any good?
It's a process. It's a process.
We're not doing no debating back and forth, just talk, thank you.
So I just wanted to give you that information.
Yes. Thank you, Angel.
Another issue I want to address. Has any thought been given to, on the corner of River Road and Outwater Lane? I travel that road daily. Everyone likes to cut in on the traffic, so when the people are driving, there's two lanes, the left lane turn only. Has there been any discussion on putting either an extra sign earlier that it's a left turn only, or anything on the macadam that it's left turn only further back? because many times the line is long on the right-hand side. I've seen them cut into the left lane. I know they know it's a left turn only. It backs up the traffic, and then you have to wait for them to feed over. And there's no officer there that are giving tickets out for that. So I just wanted to know, has any consideration been given to a sign or,
I'm just trying to visualize it.
You're speaking Ackerman Ave Bridge?
no, the corner of River Road and Atwater Lane.
Going toward,
Middleland Avenue, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, Atwater Lane.
Outwood Lane, going towards Ackerman Bridge,
Yes.
making a left onto River
So if you're
Road.
coming down River Road from Route 80 or Route 46 going towards,
Wawa.
Going south.
yeah,
South
Going
Hill.
south.
going towards us here.
Right.
Right. So where the original, or the old Dunkin' Donuts used to be.
Yes.
Okay, there's a left turn only. Many people go in that left lane just to cut in on the traffic all the time.
Oh, because it's a three-lane road when you get to the Wawas, basically.
Right, it becomes three
Yes.
lanes, but it's only for that block, that one block that it becomes three lanes. So what I'm suggesting is to put another sign further back, and that it's a left lane turn only, because many times people cut out of that
Yes.
lane and go into that lane and block the left turn traffic just to get in. I started beeping my horn because I got tired of people doing it, but.
No,
you
I
know,
agree. And it makes sense. Tom said it
difference.
it does make sense. We'll call Captain Blanco and see if we could get something up. Am
Yeah,
I
just
correct,
a
Tom?
thought, it may, help to resolve that issue.
Thank you.
Hey, Doris, we see you right here, but for the audio record, you just state your name and address, because
Sorry.
otherwise you're just a voice.
Okay, sorry, Doris Stobish.
Okay.
And what else?
Chestnut Ave.
Chestnut Street.
94 Chestnut Street,
Yeah, okay.
Garfield.
94 Chestnut.
Chestnut
Okay,
Street,
thanks.
Mr. Dennis Strand.
Mike Dennis Strand, 104 Palisade Ave. I got a couple things that need to be fixed over here. Near the trestle, we have a sign that's down, it's been down for a couple weeks now. I forgot to come up with that I mentioned it. It's a trucker sign, so nobody would hit the railroad trestle on Middleland Ave and Somerset Street on the empty property that's on the triangle building that's there. I can show you the picture. It looks dangerous. Yeah, it looks dangerous. It's been fixed before, I can tell.
Somerset and Passaic Street?
Somerset and Midland Ave, right? It's been repaired before. Somebody did a Rube Goldberg on it. It's not a good job. It must have fell down during the storms and stuff like that. Plus, I have two lights around number 6 school, street lights that need to be fixed. I have the number of the poles.
Yeah, give me the poll numbers.
One is a short number, 2862, and the other one's 6079 2G, around number 6 school. This is dangerous. Somebody could at night come off the train and break their neck. The city will get sued. Plus, there's another one, right in front of the Greater Bergen Community Action Building there. You have a bus sign that's on a 45-degree angle, all right, on a sidewalk. Somebody could walk right into that. And I forgot another one to mention. I don't know who goes around checking, but things need to be fixed. Plus, I took a walk on the railroad tracks, and I noticed more bolts are jumping out that we didn't notice before, Mr. Dutch, Tom. So, I'd like to get that woman's name that was the engineer. Did you get any information on her?
Oh, I can get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the report on the ties, so.
She'll give me a written report? Yeah. I still
don't have it
think
yet.
that system's gonna fail. I have another area that looks like it's jumping up and down again, and it's right by the weld where the two tracks meet, and I saw it today where it's right where we were looking, that thing is starting to jump up and down. I watched it as two passenger.
On the top?
On the top, yeah, on the top, right where we were walking, on the north side there of the tracks. There's a real weak area right there, so.
Thank you, Mr. Dennis Strand.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to come up and speak?
My name is Joanne, 20 Hepburn Place. I wanted to thank Garfield for putting the garbage pails on Passaic Street, because it was, I spoke with some, and I agree with Carol, we need even more, but going from 3 to, I don't know how many are on Passaic Street now? You said 25?
A total of 25, 10 were added
I know,
in January.
It's great, I spoke with some of the store owners, they were very, very thankful, that they knew. I wanted to ask a question, may not be a good topic, but at the last city council meeting, there was a little issue or discussion about this resolution authorizing payment to the John Garcia Construction Company for water pipe, the water line on 203 Millen Avenue. I just had a question, is this going against an ordinance? Because it didn't seem like everyone agreed. And if it is going against an ordinance, I don't know what it means, but will this establish a precedent? But my biggest question, and I hope I get an answer, I hope we get an answer, is why was it paid by Garfield? Why? I didn't,
Mr.
when
Dutch.
I went home, I really didn't feel like I knew why it was paid. And if it's paid and it's a good reason, that's fine.
I'm gonna let Mr. Dutch explain it.
Okay, so what happened is, a home was approved for construction at 203 Midland Avenue. In connection with the approval, they go ahead and they get permits at the building department, and the building department makes a determination what they need. If there are any issues, Mr. Garofalo is sent out, and he reviews the site. In this particular instance, this home was constructed in accordance with a resolution approved by the Zoning Board of Adjustment, and that resolution granted approval to convert an existing one-story commercial building to a two-story, one-family residential dwelling. The permit was issued, and the permit says, convert commercial building into one family as per variance. The zoning board has powers that the mayor and council do not. The zoning board made a determination to approve this application. This application was for the construction of a new one-family home on top of an existing foundation. So what that means is, it's not new construction as defined by the state of New Jersey. New construction requires the issuance of a homeowner's warranty by the state of New Jersey. That's not what's required here. I spoke with the building inspector too to just make sure that this was what happened at this particular site, and that is what happened. It is a conversion, not new construction. So, as a result, because of the way the ordinance is written, there's no connection charge. Mr. Garofalo went out there, he made the determination that Public Service, Electric, and Gas may have been involved. Passaic Valley Water Commission went out there. Passaic Valley Water Commission found a curb box that was not working. Other than that, Mr. Garofalo issued a statement. He had a statement that, as to what happened. I rely on Mr. Garofalo on the outside. I will tell you that I didn't go to the site. I will tell you that I wasn't out there when they opened up the road. I didn't know when they opened up the road. That's what he's here for. That's his job, all right? And if he needs help, he brings in Rick Cangelosi, who's the assistant water superintendent. He brings in the superintendent. He makes those determinations. So there is no new construction. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Mayor, may I?
Yes, you may, Frank.
Yes, if anyone has ever looked at this building, and if you remember the old Knights of Columbus structure, the structure came right to the sidewalk. The structure was one flight. I was in the building numerous times. To say this is a conversion, in my opinion, is totally not what it is. If you pass there tomorrow and you look at 203 Midland Avenue, there are setbacks. There are basements that existed that had to be filled. There are walls that were knocked down. I remember owning across the street, seeing that, the demolition that took place. And to say this is a conversion is, in my opinion, a total inaccuracy. Everyone else, and I asked Tom for a resolution, giving me a list of properties, email, giving me a list of properties of any other property of new construction that was given the same opportunity. Tom, I didn't receive an answer to that. You did send me emails stating that what properties we may have charged to tap into our sewer, tap into our water, but the follow-up email I never received. I'm anxiously awaiting. Verbally, you said there are none that exist, but I would like to see that in writing, please, at your earliest convenience.
Well, as I indicated to you that day, you came to City Hall and you came to my office, I indicated to you that 159 MacArthur Avenue, this is exactly what I said, 159 MacArthur Avenue, there's no water tap expense. That's on a new dwelling, brand-new dwelling, that's with a homeowner's warranty. You asked that
No,
question, that's the answer.
Listen, I'm not going to debate this, but you said there's no other properties, so I just want, please give
No,
it...
I said
please give it
to
to me
you
in writing.
right at the door. I said to you right at the door
Please
that
give
this
it to me
is
in
the
writing.
situation.
No, you said there's no other properties, but, look, I'm not going to debate this now. Just please give it to me in writing, what I've been asking for from day one. So the bottom line is, the city signs an agreement with a builder, a property owner, that if there's any problems with the water line, they would have to step up and, like every other new construction, pay and put in their own water line. And when I see a bill, and the agreement was signed in 2016, and then when I see a bill in 2018, actually, my concerns are great. I have a right to ask questions. I have a right to get answers, and I don't see any other property that was treated this way. And if every builder from now on wants to say they're going to build on the old foundation, tear down all the walls, and just say it's not new, it's a conversion, then I guess that door is opened for everyone. You know, it's just, to me, I know what existed, I know what I see now, it's a beautiful home. It's a beautiful home. It is new, it's got new sheetrock, it's got new walls, it has new roofing, a new driveway, a new front door. So if that's the angle, then shame on the city, because that's not what really is there. So, and with that, I would bet it's advertised as a new home, new construction, or a conversion. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe it is a conversion, but I would like to see what it's being advertised at. And the problem is that somebody may buy it, and with the old language of the agreement, even though now this Big Brother City has stepped in and put in a new line at, again, taxpayer expense, I see things, I ask questions. And I'm entitled to answers. I'm entitled to answers in writing. And if I can't get that, then I don't think any of you will ever get answers. If a councilman can't get the answers, then what does the general public, what chance do they really have? So that's my comments on that.
Mayor?
Yes, Tom, please.
Okay, so, unfortunately, I do not control state law. I do not control the building department. I do not control the way the building department makes an interpretation. So, new construction is defined as a home that gets a homeowner's warranty. I verified that with our building department. So they make that determination. The zoning board provided for, they approved a conversion. I didn't go out and inspect the foundations. I don't think that I should. I think that I'm allowed to rely upon our officials here. They make that decision. So I know that's not the answer you want. It's the only answer I can give.
Well, it's the first time I've heard this answer. I asked the questions a month ago, or last meeting. Never heard these
No, you asked
answers.
at the last meeting, and yes,
Yes.
for the first time, I did take a full week off, and for the first time, I did not, during that full week, answer all of the emails, which I normally do almost every day.
But I still feel the bill belongs with the new construction, with the conversion, with the owner, and the city should never have paid that bill. That's my opinion. I'm entitled to it.
Okay. Anyone else? At this time, I see no hands. We'll close the meeting. We'll open up to council comments. Councilman Lawyer, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Just for total clarity and understanding of the circumstance, I have 3 grandchildren, 2 attend the charter school, 1 attends the public school. I think the public schools are pretty filled. Are you perfect? No, you are not. Are you treating the children well? I'm very pleased with the education. My grandson, who had needs, was handled at the public school level. I really think you did a great job, and I thank you for it. They attend public school. With regard to the garbage pails, fortunately Carol left, but I'm going to change my position on garbage pails. I'll say we need more. Mayor, why are you only putting garbage pails on Passaic Street? Why do you not put them on Harrison Avenue? We pay taxes. I pay a lot more than $9,000. Why aren't you putting them on Palisade Avenue? Why aren't you putting them on Jewel Street? Why aren't you putting them on River Drive? Why do you only want to put them on Passaic Street? The second thing is, now I want the pails policed. Store owners should not be putting their garbage in that. I pay for a container at my business. I pay Pinto every month, every other week to come and take my commercial garbage, the garbage that I don't put out on the street, in the pail. So now I'm going to get rid of Pinto, and I'm going to start putting my garbage in the city pails. We're going to be put up, because I'm going to hire Carol. I mean, I understand the issue. I'm not sure I understand the solution. I take my grandchildren and we walk from my house to the school every morning. And my grandchildren and I pick up garbage all the way there and put it in all of the pails that are already there. I don't know how to stop people from not caring. That's where the frustration lies. That's where the unfortunate part is. And if you look at the brown garbage pails that already exist, those were put in by the Chamber of Commerce long before this issue started to be discussed. But we asked the business owners to be a partner with the city. We want you to take the garbage and contain it. Clean it. Put it out on garbage day. On the corner of Outwater Lane and River Drive and Monroe Street, we have a store right there on the corner, which I'm not mentioning names. The city went out and negotiated with a company to put a trash container there that has advertisement on it. A closed trash container, takes garbage and recycling. And now the people have just surrounded it with their own garbage pails, and they leave them out 7 days a week. We have homeowners on Monroe Street that leave their pails out 7 days a week. So where do you think the overflow of the trash goes? All over the streets. I think the dog park is a great thing. I love dogs. But what are we going to do with all the dogs that don't know that they have to wait till they get to the park to do their business? That neighborhood is going to have sidewalks that are going to be like minefields. Those are issues. With regard to, and I'm still waiting for my garbage pails on Harrison Avenue, Mayor. I pay taxes too. The train issue, we had a discussion. You're laughing at me because you know I'm not getting them. The train issue, we discussed Monroe Street. Monroe Street is, believe it or not, some historical landmark because it runs a train station through the middle of the town and through 2 traffic lights. But the company that owns them has since abandoned their action, and we asked the engineer and the city manager to address that and see if we can get those tracks out of Monroe Street. And that way it would be less of a driving hazard that's there. But again, those tracks, I mean, I remember the trolley on Harrison Avenue, never running, but I do remember them ripping it all out as a child. This is an old industrial town. We're always going to have trains going through it. With all regard to Mr. Dutch, there are issues that I absolutely disagree with him on, but I'm going to tell you, on the train issue, he did everything that he could possibly do. I've got to say, the man did a good job. He didn't get the result that we wanted, because we want instantaneous gratification, but supposedly, they are going to be painting the trestles this year. But you can't say he didn't contact them, you can't say he didn't bring the engineers in, you can't say he didn't do his due diligence. And if the action, and God, please don't listen to me, but if there's still an accident, you can't say that we didn't discuss it with the people that need to be discussed with. With regard to the car issue, the issue about dealing with all of these cars that you're talking about, you happen to be 100% correct. That was the whole thing of why we started this 20 years ago, when we had neighboring communities doing the same thing with stickers, so on and so forth. We are bringing it up to the 22nd century, not even the 21st. Hopefully we'll pass that, because we're always a week behind with engineering. But hopefully monitoring those vehicles that we have that are on the street will be a lot easier to do with fewer personnel, because of course, as with everything else, it's how much policing you need to pay for to deal with that. But you are right. I'm seeing it even on my own block when I'm picking up the garbage and the diapers also, that we have people that now use their work vehicle as their personal vehicle. We had a young lady tonight come in front of the council at the work session. She has one of those Fords that was mentioned that's like 16 inches or 6 inches longer than the ordinance. She's getting tickets for it. It would have been nice if her landlord, who rented the house, informed her of what the rules are. Oh, by the way, we also asked the building department, and I think it was through Erin Delaney's committee, her subcommittee, that they said, look, we have to start sending notices to people so we have such a fast turnover of residents in town. But when you have 67% of your homes occupied by absentees, or at least not long-term committed people. I mean, when you get a 30-year mortgage, you're picking up your garbage. When you get a 30-year mortgage, you're fixing up your house. When you get a 30-year mortgage, you're picking up everything that needs to be addressed. When you're not making that long-term commitment, it seems to be a little bit easier not to do those necessary things. But hopefully this program with reading the license plate will quickly know if the car is registered, where it's registered, if your license is appropriate with the vehicle that you have. Because I think even, and I don't mean to say this because I have no true proof, but I did go down to the sticker program to discuss it. We think we're getting a lot of fabricated paperwork brought in. We get a lot of people bringing in paperwork that is not authentic.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll wait for those garbage bills.
You got it. Councilman Calangelo.
All right, thank you. I want to start off my comments. We had some discussion in our open part of our work session in reference to the Babe Ruth field. And due to the research that Mr. Dutch has done with Green Acres, it's been established that we would have to replace that property 4-to-1. So for every acre of that property, we would have to find 4 acres, which is even more than what we anticipate, what was stated in the paper. I think that property, whether we keep it as a baseball field, whether we design it to be a different type of field or park, open space, but that needs to be, and that needs to stay open space. You know, I'm not worried about establishing apartments or townhouses, luxury condos. That's not what that field is for. That's been there for ages. And whatever we decide to do with it, we don't need to go through redevelopment. If we decide to put a better park there, if we decide to put whatever, for open space, it's ours. We don't need eminent domain. We don't need to take it over. We don't need to hand it over to a developer. So I just want, for the record, that's my position, and I think I'll never change on that because it's what's right for the town of Garfield. Not to mention, we have our wells on that property. And the effect on those wells, if you do put any construction, we don't know what could happen to our water. We just spent millions getting those wells back up and running. Not to belabor the point, but on 203 Midland Avenue, with all things that were said, why didn't we just leave the old water line? If there's no requirement to change the water line, why did the city of Garfield go through the expense of putting a new one in? If it's truly a conversion, the old line should have been there and should have been just tapped into our main, plain and simple. But no, we went and we put a brand-new line in. And I'll be waiting for that email, and I would appreciate that. At the last meeting, I discussed the fact of, that we should have for our residents a nice packet, a welcoming packet, as Ms. Delaney mentioned that the Green Team has been talking about. Then it was mentioned about the Quality of Life Committee, and that if I would have went to the meetings, well, just for the record, I wasn't on that committee. We had a water meeting prior to the Quality of Life meeting. I had to leave because you cannot have 3 council members sit in on a committee without advertising them. Otherwise, we are in breach of the Sunshine Law. So that's the truth of the matter. Not that it made it sound like I was not attending where I should have been. I was just never placed on that committee. Should somebody want to resign from the committee, I'll certainly step up and take that seat. But that's the truth of the matter. Today, they had Dr. Seuss at number 6 school, Dr. Seuss Day, reading to the grammar school children, and it's such a delight. And it's, Principal Annabelle does a great job, his staff does a great job, and it's good to see a board member at a council meeting concerned about the schools. Angela, you're a breath of fresh air. I hope it becomes contagious with the board members that are there, because I really, in my heart, I really believe that you do care about the children and about what your job is there as a school trustee. And with that, I will, thank you for listening.
Councilwoman, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I was in the zone.
Just very quickly in regards to NJ Transit and the train station, I completely concur with what Mr. Aloya said about Tom working so diligently on it. Just very quickly, Doris, I do hope that there is a solution to the numerous cars. I agree, the commercial vehicles are a complete eyesore. I think this is something the Quality of Life Committee should look at if they have not already done so, but then in tandem with this new program, hopefully we can crack down on that. And I'm going to be talking a lot about the trash pails and the Green Team, but I just, I know Carol said that she resents me for not placing pails near a church, the school, and Walmart. I don't recall her ever asking me to place them at a specific location. I do write things down at every meeting, as I'm sure most of you have noticed tonight, so I could be wrong, but just to put it out there, patience is a virtue. I don't like to do things just because or just to appease people. I like to do things strategically, which is the whole purpose of forming the Green Team, which I have done on my own time voluntarily. So the reason that we do have a fully functioning Green Team is because of myself, which does make us eligible for Sustainable New Jersey funding. And as I've mentioned in numerous council meetings, our first meeting was about September. I formulated an action plan of projects for us to work on throughout the year, one of which is a GIS mapping program for our garbage pails, because I don't think we should just place them, where every resident wants them. I think we should look at them as a whole, what we currently have, what gaps we are missing. I have the DPW working on it. We also have garbage pails that are not city-owned, so we're working with the company to get those locations. So it's not just something I can work on overnight. I do need time, and I do ask for your patience on that. As I was sitting here, I emailed Sam in regards to the email that he sent, that 10 were placed, 10 more were ordered, and being that I did hear Carol's request tonight, I did ask that he look into placing them at the church, Walmart, and the school around Marcellus Place. I know Carol's no longer here, but hopefully she'll be watching this meeting. And then also the businesses and garbage pails, I completely agree, Mr. Loy. I don't believe that they should be using city garbage pails for their own personal use, which is also why on Passaic Street and other business areas, the Green Team is looking at purchasing different garbage pails that can't large sums of matter can't be placed in them. It would maybe have a flower bed on top, kind of beautify the area, and only smaller items will be able to be placed for individual use. So we're looking at that. One of our grant writers reached out to me today in regards to a grant on trash receptacles and maybe purchasing more. So hopefully that's something I could speak about with Mr. Dutch. Also, I work in Hudson County. I know some people have mentioned they grew up in Hudson County, and just in January, I attended an event in Union City, and I had to reach out and applaud their mayor and council for how clean that city was. I mean, parking is absolutely brutal, so I was driving around, and I couldn't help but notice how clean the city was. So I reached out, and, I just said that I would love to pick their brain on what system they use and what works for them. So hopefully this is something, I reached out to Mayor Stack. He did get back to me, but I wasn't able to set up a meeting. I did want to speak about it to Mr. Dutch, the DPW superintendent, and so on. But as part of the Green Team, the lead of the Green Team, I am tirelessly working on that. And just some good things to announce with the Green Team. We are applying for 2 Sustainable New Jersey grants, and if awarded, this is the first time we'll be getting Sustainable New Jersey funding, so that's great. In April, we'll be having a revamped recycling mailer with a lot of information that residents say they did not know of or were not aware of, so that will be coming out in April. The Green Team is planning a city cleanup. We are looking at April 21st, so if you know any students or if you're looking to volunteer, but I know some students might need volunteer hours, we are going to be doing it after the Recreation Center Spring Parade, so to kind of piggyback off of that so that we're not occupying 2 Saturdays of people's times. As Mr. Calangelo said, today was Read Across America at number 6 school. I read to the kindergarten and first grade special ed classes, and it was absolutely wonderful. Mr. Annabelle did a great job, and I look forward to reading at number 8 school on Thursday, and I believe number 7 school is on Friday. I'm not sure about the other schools. And just a few more other things. I know I'm speaking a mile a minute. This Saturday is the Pulaski beefsteak. Our city manager, Tom Dutch, is the grand marshal this year, so if anyone wants to attend that. On March 9th, we have a library event. It's the Marker Space Day from 3 to 5:30, and that's about it. That's coming up before our next council meeting on March 13th, so thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Mayor?
Yeah, just a comment quick with regards to the Babe Ruthville Park. At least we're discussing it. At least we're discussing it. If we didn't bring it up, right now, Babe, it would stay just the way it is. I stated in the work section, to have ideals without action is just ideals. There's a piece of property that we could do that right now is underused. And it's a nice piece of property that we could either turn it into a better park or something besides just sitting there selling Christmas trees once a year, and having kids play baseball there a few times out of the year. With regards to 94 Chestnut Street, I agree with you 100%, that there is no parking in this city. It's a shame. But, sometimes our neighbors are to blame, too. My neighborhood said of parking in the driveway, they like to park on the street. As far as the abandoned cars in the driveway, that shouldn't be allowed. If a car is sitting in there for 7 years with flat tires, that you definitely have to give Tom Dutch the address for. That is one of the things that we brought up in the quality of life. We want to tackle that issue. We want to tackle issues with used car lots, with numerous cars on the lots, what we feel definitely, brings down the city. And I agree with my daughter with regards to Hudson County, West New York, Union City. They're all small, tight cities, but the sidewalks are clean, and parking over there is horrendous. So I'd like to welcome our new attorney, Bob Ferrero, today. Bob worked for Garfield, and he's back in action. I love having Bob here. Bob, if we could check out what type of ordinances they have in West New York and Union City, what do they do to keep their streets so clean? Whether whatever it is, just something to look at, just something to get the ball started. It's an idea within an action. It's more than just an idea. So I agree with that. That'll definitely help us out. It's also with regards to the garbage cans. I mean, it was, Tom, before I get involved with that, I wrote Sam and the chief an email with regards to yellow tape around River Drive. I drive River Drive all the time, and I see how they cut in and all that. But there's also poles there with yellow tape, caution tape, that is still there. Some of the lights don't work. If we could reach out to public service to please fix those lights, and if we could get the DPW down by that Delta gas station where the roof came down, the canopy, we still got the caution tape flapping in River Drive every time I drive by. You know, right now, it serves no purpose, the caution tape. It's no longer closed off. If we could take it down. With regards to the garbage cans, I mean, it was stated we only had 3 cans. That's not true. We had more than 3 cans on Passaic Street. It was said that we had 15 cans, I believe. You know, so let's speak the truth there. And he also mentioned about the pipe being paid on Midland Ave. You know, sometimes every council member has a right to ask questions up here, but sometimes when they make statements that they put it in a derogatory way, which means it seems like somebody's doing something illegal, just the way by they're presenting it, that is so wrong. You know, there isn't a council member, a administrator, anybody up here that will do anything like that. So just to make it look that way is disgusting, and that's why I asked our city attorney, what steps can I take to maybe put a stop to that? And it's not the first time it's happened. So I'm really afraid that the city might be, I don't want to get sued, so it's just something that I think that I should look into as an elected member of this council. And most important, last night there was a Board of Education meeting, and the Board of Ed had the opportunity to work with the city to put a brand-new track, brand-new field over there by that dilapidated field and track, and it got tabled, it got taken off, and right now, because of that, the $1 million which Tom Dutch went and received, got the city, got the Board of Ed, got our children for that new track and new field, now doesn't go there because of I don't know why, but right now I am so angry over that. There is no reason in the world why our children do not deserve a new field and a new track. I understand our buildings yes, they need work and all that, but you know what? If we listen to the kids in the interview, in the newspaper, how they wanted the field and the track, come on now, we had $1 million that Tom Dutch worked for. No, none of us, Tom Dutch did. And he got us $1 million to start that field. And not to mention that today I tell you, I'm really upset with the Board of Education over that. How can they let this opportunity go for our kids? You know, and I wish they were all here, all 9 members. That would tell every single one of them that they missed a grand opportunity to give our kids and our city, because that field would have been opened up to the entire city, a brand new field. And we're talking about Babe Ruth. We have the gall to talk about the Babe Ruth field over here, but meanwhile we had an opportunity to put a gem over there, and we blew it. We blew it. Shame on and whoever was responsible. I know I wasn't. I said every time, no matter how we have to do it, let's do it, and it's not getting done. Now that's one thing that I'm really upset with. And I mean, we got grants. Just tonight, we spoke about getting grants over $300,000 tonight for its elevator, which Carol seems not to like. But you know what? The person who uses that elevator, she's going to be very happy that we're getting it. $58,000 for the park. Well, we're getting grants left and right, and to leave that grant, that Green Acres money, not go to our field, it's terrible. But that's I had to state that. Well, what else do I have? We had a Black History Month celebration on Saturday, and it was a wonderful job by the Black History Committee. They had a speaker there by the name of Mike.
Big Mike.
Big Mike. And if anybody would have listened to this guy, you would walk away, you would walk out of there being so grateful for everything that we have. You know, if you get a chance, his name is Big Mike from Orange.
Mike Spence.
And this guy was tremendous. He will give everybody a whole new outlook on life. And how much by helping, how you you receive so much more by helping out somebody else, and it's so true. You know, it's in giving that you receive, and I was always taught that by my mom and my dad. It's in giving that you receive. Dr. Seuss was great today. We have more readings this week. Also, number 6 school went with the 100th day of the 100th year. Did we mention that last time? I don't know, but Chris Anvil.
It was a 100-year anniversary.
Yeah, and Chris Anvil did a wonderful job with that. I have 3 grandchildren that they all go to the public schools. My daughter went to Garfield Public Schools. My son, all my kids went to Garfield Public Schools, and they all did okay. So if somebody comes up here and talks bad about our public school system, well, you know what? From my own personal experience, they do pretty good. I'm very happy with them. Right now, I'm just not happy with the Board of Ed, what they do at the field. That's it for me.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Yes,
Can I get you to respond to that?
No.
No.
there's no responses right now, sorry.
The mic down.
I'm sorry?
The mic.
First of all, I want to talk about the garbages. You know, I gotta laugh when I hear about garbage, 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 garbage. I talked to a couple of my friends who live on Palisade and Passaic, and they think it's a joke to see 25 garbage cans within 2 blocks. The more the garbage cans, the more the garbage. They see it's like wherever you walk, wherever they turn, there's a garbage can slapping them in the face. I'm just quoting them. So they're not too happy about all those garbages. And I agree with you, Councilman and lawyer, the businesses should have their own garbages and be picked up. So that's something we do need to look into. I gotta commend Councilwoman Delaney for working on this green team. She works hard on this. This is a positive for Garfield, something we never had. And to piggyback on the garbage, we just received this smart waste recycling station that I passed it on to Councilwoman, and she's gonna look into it, and we're gonna get an interview. This is, first of all, increase public approval and reduce complaints. This is like a solar power garbage can recycling, where you put the stuff in, it crushes the waste, and then it sends an email when the garbage is full, so you could put 10 times more garbage in it, and it gets crushed, and then it sends an email to the command post to pick it up when it's ready to pick up. The towns that use it: Hoboken, Jersey City, Montclair, New York City, Hudson River, Times Square. It's a solar power compactor, works totally off the grid to reduce collection runs by 80% or more by compacting trash and recyclables at the point of collecting them, and sends an alert via email, something that we're going to look into because it's something positive. But, I mean, here you go, Councilwoman.
Thank you.
I mean, garbage. I want to talk about Columbus Field. I ran on redevelopment, and I want redevelopment in this town. We need to move forward in this town. Columbus Field is a space that's been sitting there, and we need to improve it, however way possible. Councilman Calandrella said 4-1. I believe it's 2-1 from what I was understanding, but we'll let the lawyer figure that out. And hopefully, something positive could come out of this Columbus Field. If not, listen, nothing could happen at Columbus Field until Green Acres approves, whether it be 4-1 or 2-1. Nothing could happen until Green Acres approves the other acreage. So, you know, it could be years, it could be months, it could be decades. So, I mean, but we got to move forward. We got to keep planning for the future. We just can't stay still. You know, we've been idle long enough and things deteriorate and it doesn't look good. That Columbus Field doesn't look good. It's not being used. It's never being used. And it's time we use it. It's one of our viable pieces of property, and let's use it one way or the other. Bob, welcome. I never got a chance to work with you, but I'm looking forward to working with you.
My pleasure.
The rec center, they had a big week. They had signing day, the first time in Garfield history that there was a signing day where all the spring sports got together, and everybody was at the rec center this past Saturday. There must have been a good 100 residents, the little kids walking in, signing for Little League, T-ball, volleyball, softball, tennis, everything. They had the Boys Club, the YMCA, the rec center, the Visitor Center, and it was like a one-stop shop. It was a great idea and was great. to piggyback on the rec center and the boys club, they're talking about having a parade when all the sports for the spring, a parade right down Midland Ave for our little kids who are playing in all the sports from the YMCA, Boys Club, and the rec to walk on down. It'd be the first time they have a big parade like that. I'm looking forward to that. They're also having an Easter egg hunt. So, the rec center's moving forward. They're talking about bringing the arts and dancing to the rec center because everybody has sports, but you know what? I know Angel's a big proponent of the arts and dances, and I think we're piggybacking on that idea that you bring all the time to the Board of Ed, and it's important that not everybody's an athlete. There are kids who are interested in singing and dancing and acting, and the rec center's looking into grants to get from the NJ PAC or whoever wants to come down, these residents and programs, come on down and teach our kids who aren't into the sports, into something like that. So, our rec center director, Chris Larry, he's working hard to bring innovative ideas to our town. I do want to talk about, I know Deputy Mayor is upset. I'm disappointed. Our kids deserve better. Garfield, we're moving in the right direction. I know the Board of Ed is moving in the right direction. And, it's a tough thing when this field that it was on the cusp. It was on the cusp and there was a deadline. And we didn't, no one acted on it. And they knew the deadline and they thought it was just a hoax that there could be an extension, and unfortunately, there were no extensions. And, now the money's been allocated somewhere else. It's a tough situation. This is a football field. Garfield High School deserves something better. Our students deserve something better. Our incoming high schoolers deserve something better. And hopefully down the road, we'll get this all squared away, and we'll work together. And listen, we're working together good with the Board of Ed now. And, it's unforeseen and it's unfortunate, but hopefully, down the road, something else will come around. But that stadium, that field needs to be developed. It's important for our town. That's the flagship of our town. When people come into Garfield, and we're talking about changing the images and changing the community and changing what people think of Garfield, it's Garfield High School. And the academics and the teachers and all through the whole district, they work hard and they're proud. And, I know we had a resident up here who put us down, but you know what? She has no right. She has no right because she doesn't understand. She's listening to someone who's angry. When people are angry, they put everybody down. And one or two people, that's not right, because I know the school districts in Garfield, as well as the charter schools, and they're all great teachers, great administrators, and they work hard to put out the product. We're a melting pot. Garfield's a melting pot, and we get everybody coming in. And it's tough when you get students that don't speak English that well, or students with disability, and we have to take them. And we have to, we want them. We want them because we give them a good education. We put it out there, and they get a good education. And with the high school being the flagship, that's our showcase. That's the showcase of our town. And, that field should have been taken care of. And, it's unfortunate. It really is. But, I got confidence in the Board of Ed. I got confidence in the City Council. And we'll get back to the drawing board soon enough to get that field the way it should be, the way we think it should be. Garbage fields, that's it. This past Saturday was Black History. Mike Spence, Big Mike, he was a great speaker. He was motivational. And after that, I had to go to a St. Anthony's feast at the Venetian. It was a day of eating and drinking and listening to speakers and everything like that. And it was a great day all around. And, we have a lot of positives in Garfield. And let's understand that. There's days that everything's not working out, or there's weeks that things aren't working out, but we're moving in the right direction. The council here, sometimes we disagree on things, adamantly we disagree on things, but at the end of the day, we all want what's best for our residents and for our town. With that saying, I wish everybody a happy week and a great weekend.